Welcome to Witch Chat Chats, and come on in and sit for a spell. We're sponsored by Evermoving We Rise, Moonlight Potions and Charms, and Saul Ravencraft, Wizard for Hire. I am your amazing goddess host, Miss Nikki Kirby, and we have our wonderful techno chaos magician. His name is Saul Ravencraft. How you doing, Saul?
I am fantastic, Nikki. How are you doing?
I'm doing a lot better.
Can understand that. You've been having adventures.
We all have adventures every day. All right, so you want to know what our divination is for today?
I do.
All right, so everybody knows that I drink positive energy tea because it gives you positive and energy. Positive and energy. Woo! Okay, so our divination for today is, and I quote, "Do not take life too seriously. You'll never get out of it alive," unquote, by Albert Hubbard.
So is that the same as L. Ron Hubbard, the science fiction author and founder of Scientology?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think this guy actually has some damn sense.
Well, L. Ron Hubbard had sense in a way, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, I think that is really the point of all of it, is recognizing that, you know, even though we may continue into some other experience, that this life, this incarnation, this path right here is finite. None of us immortal.
Oh, yeah, because you're not going to make it out alive.
It is true. It is true. One of the people that I admire quite a bit is a man named Stephen Fry. He's a British man. He's proudly gay. He's an intellectual. He's an atheist. He's a really interesting guy, and I love the fact that I don't necessarily agree with him on everything, but that isn't a problem. He doesn't expect me to. He's not worried about it. And I recently just went through a podcast he did on the 7 deadly sins. And he examines each of the sins and what they might mean and how we might encounter them. And some of them, he had some counterpoints, like pride, different kinds of pride perhaps, and some of that pride is useful to us and motivates us, and some of it is not. It was interesting as he was wrapping things up, talking about his perspective as an atheist. He is absolutely convinced that death is the end. That when he dies, that's it. He has done everything he will do. He will experience everything he will experience. And it gives him a kind of urgency to do the stuff that needs to be done and to take it all in. And it was interesting because I think you and I share the understanding that death is not the end, that there's some transformation that's going to come through. But I really enjoyed him talking about making the most of what you've got right now.
Mm-hmm.
It resonated really well. And it does make sense to treat this life as though it's the only one you're going to get on some levels. Mm-hmm. Because you got to do the things now.
Right. You know, it's like you're not going to be having the same experiences in this life that you're going to have in another, really. And I'm sorry, I cannot agree that you only have one life or one type of experience, because You got Newton's theory, Newton's laws. I mean, shit. What energy cannot be created, nor can it be destroyed. So we have energy in our bodies. Everything in our bodies is energy. So when our bodies die, where does that energy go? Okay, because energy is neither created nor is it destroyed. So where the hell does it go? Right? It's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Right?
There's some transformation that takes place. Yeah.
So it's just like the human spirit. The human spirit has to do something. It has to go somewhere. And
Right.
although science has not been able to prove that there is a human spirit of some shape or form, which apparently one day it may be able to do,
Mm-hmm.
we do have a human spirit, because it can be broken for some people. And for
Sure.
some people, or is just so goddamn mean, and won't be broken.
Right.
Just take hell with you. But it's just like you were talking about the atheists. Every time you talk about the atheists, I think about that commercial that's on every Sunday mornings on the CBS broadcast system that says that it's a wonderful commercial. I absolutely love it. They go into their little song and dance, and their spittle is what I call for everything. And they said that I'm an atheist and I'm proud to be burning in hell. And it's
Right.
meant to be funny, It's exactly what
Sure.
it's meant to be funny.
Sure.
And if you haven't seen it, please watch it. It's hilarious. I love it. It's meant to give you with a different perspective, because he's always talking about whatever they're talking about, for currently. But it's always on the Sunday morning broadcast.
Not fun. Yeah.
Right.
But from a philosophical standpoint, I do appreciate the idea of being in the now.
Yes, you have to. It's called Zen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't say, well, Nikki, I'm sorry that happened. I'll make it up to you in the next life. Right? Because, while there may be some way to work with that, I really need to make it up to you now.
Right.
I need to make it up to you here. And I can't just pass that buck on and say, well,
Well, the thing about it is also, I may not see you in the next life, because with my beliefs, I believe you have so many lifetimes, and you have so many lessons. So once you learn all those lessons, you go from what I call phase 1 to phase 2, whatever phase 2 is. So let's say, Saul, you say, okay, I'll make that up to you in the next life, Nikki. Let's say you've already completed all your phase 1 lessons. You just screwed me over, you like little asshole. I mean, that's what you just did. So yeah, and you literally have put yourself off, right?
right.
Instead of being responsible for your shit.
And some of what I feel has been revealed to me is our incarnations are not necessarily linear. I believe that people are reincarnated in the past. It's not necessarily all moving forward, because on that level, linear time has no meaning. Our souls experience it all at once, and so it gets very weird. It's hard to talk about this in a way that makes sense, but that's one of those things that blew my mind, is that my next incarnation may not be in the future. It may be connected to some other time, some other dimension, and and it's that divergence that you're talking about. We can't assume that everything's just moving forward together.
That's true. That is very much true. So our topic today is going to be on self-care. It's
Okay.
a very important topic. Ever since we got into the COVID pandemic, we've really have needed to start focusing on self-care, and because this world, I'm sorry, this world has really gone bonkers.
Fair enough.
I mean, we've gotten shootings now, a lot more than what we used to. We got people panicking and just going off on absolutely nothing.
It's a lot of rage going on.
Yeah, a lot of rage. And so I believe if people actually do their shadow work and start turn around and doing a lot of their self-care, that perhaps we wouldn't be in this mess like we were. So, Saul, what do you do for self-care?
Oh my goodness. Well, one of the things that I have evolved into that has made a big difference for me is I will stop. Because I'm a freelancer, because I do a lot of different kinds of things, I will have situations where I'm working all weekend. And I'm exhausted at the end of it. But then it's Monday. And so Monday we have to start being productive again, even though I just worked all weekend. And I've given myself permission that when I give my energy out, when I do a weekend full of readings and I'm just functionally stupid, I will allow myself to just stop and not necessarily try and find a lot of productive things to do. I can sit down and I can watch SpongeBob and just let go of everything. That everybody else gets to do stuff like that when it comes to their weekends and that kind of thing. And that if I'm doing something that keeps me out till 3 in the morning, there's no reason I have to be up at 7. That I can allow the flow of what I'm doing to fit reality instead of my dad's rules about whether or not you were being productive. And that has made a big difference for me. I've realized that it's okay for me to not do anything important right now. I mean, obviously this is important. And yeah. I'm fully engaged here, right? But I can have those moments of just, I'm not going to do anything that matters right now. I'm not going to work on some little thing. I'm not going to try and come up with an idea. I'm going to just recharge. And maybe I'll do that at home. Maybe I'll go be somewhere or something like that. But giving myself permission to stop and let people just fuck all the way off while I get myself back. That I don't have a responsibility to everybody to be running all the time. And I would say that understanding has occurred for me over the last year. Letting go of that guilt, letting go of that need to answer every question, everything that reaches out to me. Being able to go, well, I would love to help with that, but I'm booked. Who are you booked with? SpongeBob. But I'm telling that, but I'll put stuff on my calendar. I'll block out the time on my calendar for recovery. And I don't feel guilty and I don't feel behind. I have many other ways to do that, right? I can dredge that up in other ways. But I really do give myself permission to recharge. And I didn't do that before. And it's changed everything. It has really reduced my stress in so many ways. To just realize that other people's emergencies are not mine. and that I can treat my time with as much importance as what I'm doing for everybody else.
Right.
Do you do that? You struggle with that, don't you?
I used to really struggle with that, but I made a rule. I made a rule. I stop everything at 8 o'clock at night. 8 o'clock at night, come hell or shine, I stop right there. That is where I stop, and it doesn't matter what is going on to the next day. Boom, I stop, and that is my time. And I'm reading a book, or I'm watching television, or I'm doing whatever the hell I want to do until next morning. And then when I get up in the morning, I'm do what I need to get done for the morning, and I'm sitting down, I'm drinking my protein shake, and I'm playing my game to wake myself up. And then I'm go about booming through the day. And then 8 o'clock at night, boom, I stop.
Nice.
And I have been so much more relaxed since then. And I actually have started to read fiction again. And I haven't read fiction in 5 years.
Very nice.
Yes. And I've actually am more healthier and more spiritually balanced now.
Sure, I can see that.
It's like I used to be always on the go. I was always doing video, or I was always doing something else, or making crafts or something. It's like, God, nope, don't do that anymore, and it's like it's 8 o'clock. And of course, my Daisy dog wants me in bed by 9 because she has decided that it's her bedtime, and her bedtime is my bedtime. And she's like, Mom, it's 9 o'clock. We need to go to bed. Mom,
Right.
it's 9 o'clock. We need to go to bed. Mom, it's 9 o'clock. We need to go. Mom.
Well, you can always read in bed a little bit.
Well, I do. I read in bed, so it's okay. And she was giving my mom hell when I was having my surgery, because my mom wanted to not let her sleep with me during my for the first few weeks of my recovery. And she was giving my mother hell over that. So
Sure.
that was fun. And so I ended up having to take her out because she doesn't want to go out by herself, and my mother wouldn't refuse to go out with her. We got a backyard, and she refused to go out with her. I'm like, Mom, you got to just step outside with her at night for her last thing. No, ain't gonna do it. So I stepped out with her, and then we stepped back in. And then she stops at my door. I'm like, no, we can't stop at my door. We got to continue. And my mom's like right next door. So, trying to get her up there and trying to make her jump up on the, use the stairs, because she's a senior dog, you got to have patience. And my mom's a senior human. So you gotta have patience, and here we go. And she was mad at me for the first week. And when it comes to, I'm sorry, animals are your children, and yes, they do pout. They do. They pout, and I kept telling Mama, she's mad at me. No, she's not mad at you. She's a dog. No, Mama, she's mad at me. Because she refused to come and see me during the day unless I was laying down, and that's the hard thing, when you're trying to recover, and you've got a business and you've got everything else you got to do. No, that's really hard. My mom kept saying, you need to lay down, you need to focus on yourself. No, I don't. I got shit I've got to get done. No, no. You know, it's like arguing with her and then trying to argue with Daisy. It was not fun. So
Well, you were dealing with reality, and I think that's one of the big self-care things. One of the books that I find very helpful, especially for things like shadow work, is the book The Four Agreements. And one of the concepts that talked about is that you always do your best, but your best is not the same every day. And dealing with something like surgery and coming out of that, dealing with things like here we're dealing with relentless heat, and basically starting about 6 in the morning or so, it's kind of decent. You know, it's maybe upper 70s, lower 80s at that point. And then it starts to get out of hand about 10:30 is when the sun really starts to become unbearable. And you can't recover the same way because things aren't cooling down. There's a lot of things that are going on there, and it takes it out of you. And that's just reality. Working through that, pushing on through that, I mean, that's just going to get you heat exhaustion and heat stroke and that kind of thing. There are people that are doing it, that are doing construction and that kind of thing, and you know, they're hopefully hydrating themselves and taking the breaks that they need to. But you can't plow through the same way that you can when the temperature is not in the triple digits. And you have to deal with that reality. That's a reality we're all going to have to deal with for a while as this becomes the new thing. Things are going to have to shift around. And as your physical limitations occur, as you're dealing with circumstances that really transform you, your best is not the same as it was in different circumstances. That's okay. That is absolutely okay. You should not be feeling guilt or pressure from that because of the way it's supposed to be.
Yep. And with that, we are going to take a break and listen to our amazing sponsors who have amazing products and services that can be able to help you change your life for the better. So we'll be right back with Witch Chat Chats. Stay tuned. Anybody can tell you what is on a tarot or oracle card. What matters is seeing beyond what others may not be able to see and help the client to uncover what lies in the mist. What do readings from Moonlight Potions and Charms do? Wednesday, I did this ancestor reading, and it was an amazing reading. And it was a detailed reading. And I remember talking to this customer's ancestors, and it was so delightful. And he wanted some questions to be answered about the magic in his family because he didn't know. And his family was mostly like most of our families are. You know how everything is like hush hush when it comes to the magic in his family. And he wanted to know who can he actually talk to about the history of the magic in his family. And I was able to give him specifically who he can go to talk to about that. What particular deity he can actually go to be able to help him with this. And it was just an amazing reading, and talking to his ancestors, they were such a delight, and they told me so much about this customer. It was just an absolutely wonderful reading for him, and I was just so happy to be able to give him this wonderful reading. it's really amazing to be able to give people these readings, these products that's really going to help them, and be able to give back to the community, because this is what Moonlight Potions and Charms is about. We want to help you to embrace the power of your own magic. That is what we are all about. It's to help you to do that. Book now and allow our wonderful staff to take care of your spiritual reading needs. And there is so much more in our Wicked store to help you to embrace the power of your own magic. So come on in to Moonlight Potions and Charms at www.moonlightpotionscharms.com and discover the wicked things that ignite the magical passion in you.
I'm Saul Ravencraft, co-host of Witch Hat Chats. I understand just how confusing and chaotic it can be to open to a path of magic and manifestation. Everything seems to turn on its head. I want to be an ally as you find the way upon your path. My studio setup will let us do readings, coaching, and exploration virtually, just as though you were sitting across the table from me. One size does not fit all, and we will work together to craft the right approaches to build your practice, your confidence, and your power using the tools of divination, magical works, and spirit connections. It's never too late to embrace a new path and emerge empowered. Go to texasmojoman.com and select Contact to begin. There's a message now. Let's get started working on your very good fortune.
Have you wondered what spirituality is? Spirituality is limitless, as it does not contain any boundaries on beliefs or practices. Spirituality's most important component is personal experience and allows one to explore it freely. Evermoving We Rise is a spiritual moving tradition, as our name is our lifestyle, because we are persistently rising and moving forward. We realize that everyone's spiritual journey is extremely personal, but more easily traveled with reinforcement. We'll teach you to become friends with your shadow, emerge your authentic self, and give you time and space to develop your own spirituality. And when situations bump back, you'll have the entire community behind you, as we are a magical family who work to sustain each other. Discover the benefits of working within a society dedicated to helping you grow on your personal path. Visit us on our website, Linktree, or Facebook page and discover why we don't fit in the box.
Welcome back to Witch Hat Chats. I am Saul Ravencraft. I am, of course, here with Miss Nikki, and I don't know if it's obvious, but you've been through some stuff. You talked about it in the first in the first part, recovering from surgery and your Daisy's confusion and all that. But I know you had a surgery. It was the beginning of this year, wasn't it?
I
had
had
major
surgery last week.
Yeah, but you had a major surgery at the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
And then you had a follow-up surgery that happened just last week.
Mm-hmm.
Having people go digging in your body, that's impactful.
You made it sound like a horror movie.
Well, it kind of is in some ways. It's not something you'd want to watch.
Oh, Lordy. Well, let's put it to you this way. The first one wasn't too bad. The second one, as Saul puts it, going down the rabbit hole. Oh, I tell you one thing. When you go into surgery, 9 times out of 10, they call you a few weeks before. For those who've never been to surgery, they call you a few weeks before because they want to go over your medications. They want to go over what you're not going to take, give you some instructions, and they want to email you some things to let you know about your instructions and so forth. And then, of course, you got to go see your doctor, and you're usually given a bag of, special types of soaps and stuff that you really need to do the day before and the day of surgery. Well, my surgery was on a Monday, and the Friday before, I still haven't received shit. And so I'm sitting here, I'm on the phone in the early mornings, and I'm calling and I'm calling and I'm calling and I'm calling. Nobody knows anything. And of course, the phone keeps disconnecting. Don't you just love that? You call the surgery and you get them and you get the answer machine and you're trying to leave the message and you say your name. And of course, they want your name and your birth date and your phone number and all this other crap. And by the time you get to your not and then it clicks off, right? You really, truly love that. And so you think, okay, it's my phone. So I'm calling in on my phone. I'm calling on my mother's phone. I even took my nephew's phone. It's their stuff. So I had to call through my doctor, the nurse. They have no idea. So they send me over to the surgical. And of course, the surgical was like, let's see about who we can send you to get you to the right person. And that person went, let me transfer you again. And that person went, So about 13 transfers later, I get this person and they turn around and they tell me, say, oh, Miss Kirby. Okay, well, I can tell you when it is. It's, at blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you're wrong about that because they told me it's at this and this and this time. Did you change it? Well, let me look. Oh, you're right. It is at this and this and this time. Oh, okay. Okay. I need my instructions and I need to know why I haven't received, your special kit or whatever. They said, oh, just use dial soap. I'm like, okay. Now, can I have the instructions emailed to me, please? And they confirmed that. And I said, I also would like to have a callback, please. That later this afternoon, just really try to confirm this from somebody who's actually supposed to do this because this wasn't the girl. And they said, okay, we'll have somebody call you back. So 2 hours later, I get a call back and they change my time. All right, you changed my time. And they sent me my instructions. And then later that day, they called me back again to tell me they changed my time. I'm like, cool. All right. So I got everything done. Now, the instructions always say for any surgery you ever go into is you cannot eat after midnight. It's kind of like gremlins.
Right. Right.
They eat after midnight, right? But here's the thing. You can't eat after midnight, but my surgery wasn't until originally it was supposed to be at 10:30, and then they changed it to 11:30. So I can't eat after midnight, which means I can't have any food. And they were going to just charge me at 6 o'clock at night. So they're literally starving me to death, which is cruel and unusual punishment. Cruel and unusual punishment, people. I mean, really. They said that I can drink clear liquids up until 8 o'clock in the morning. But of course, you got to take your shower, before you leave and everything. And it takes like an hour and a half for me to get to this hospital, which is up in Nashville. And so it's like, okay. So anyway, my friend Anna, Goddess bless her soul, she took me up there. And of course, Waz has no idea where entrance 2 is. And apparently neither does the signs. So we went around and around and around and around. And finally, we had to stop and ask somebody who knew where entrance 2 was. And we found that. And we walked in there. And I needed to go to the bathroom. Number one, I'm hungry as hell. Number two, I'm thirsty as hell. And then I asked if I can, go to the restroom. And they said, well, we're not sure about that. And I'm like, why? Are all of them out of order? Do I need to go to somewhere else? And they said, well, are you pregnant? And I said, I sure the hell hope not. They yank all of that out. They're like, oh, they did? I said, yeah, it's all right there in my chart. They said, oh, okay, so you can go to the restroom. Right there it is down the hall. I'm like, okay, cool. And I came back and I said, okay, I'm thirsty. Can I have like a little bit, to drink or something like that? Oh, no, you can't have any of that. And so they took in my information. They asked me the same damn questions. I'm like, it's in the chart. It's all in the chart. Damn. I'm usually a very patient person, and most of the time I understand because I have been in the medical system myself. I used to work with severely mentally ill people, so I understand the procedures and stuff like that. Well, anyway, so they finally decided to get me upstairs, and Anna and I walked upstairs, and the first person we meet is an RN nurse. Now, nurses, I want to tell you people, be nice to the nurses because they are the heart and the soul of the hospital. Not the doctors, it's the nurses. They are the heart and the soul of the hospital. So if you're nice to the nurses, you usually get the best of care, 9 times out of 10. But this nurse I met could not shut up. She would not listen. She kept talking. I've never met a nurse who kept talking. And she gave me this paper cloth robe. Well, gown is what they are. And the gown looked like, and actually was, a Chinese puzzle. And and I asked her, I said, okay, because of the surgery had to do with a certain part of the female anatomy, I asked her, I said, should it open from the front or the back? That's after I got her to shut up for a whole 2 seconds. And she looked at me like I had asked her, to tell me how the sky was blue, something like that. And then she went, and I stopped her again and I said, should it open up from the front or the back? And then she gave me that weird look again. And she went, da 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 da. I felt like I was in a Charlie Brown cartoon. Okay, where you sit down there and the teachers are talking to you, you don't understand what the teachers are saying. That's exactly how I actually felt. And then she left. And I asked Anna, who has been in more surgeries than I have, I said, did you understand anything that she said? She said, no. And I said, okay, awesome. I said, well, at least the one thing I did understand that she said was that I was going to have a nurse named Bill. That was it. And so I decided that the nurse will help me if it was wrong. So Anna said that she was going to go back downstairs and said, good luck. I'm like, I'm going to need it apparently. So anyway, I try to get dressed. I put on this gown and figured out my way of trying to get it opened up. It took me about 15 minutes to put on this paper gown because, like I said, it was a Chinese puzzle. It's like, what the hell? because it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. And didn't open up the way a gown would open up, you know. One piece went like the opposite way, and then the other piece went this way, and it was kind of like trying to open one of those puzzle boxes. It literally was a freaking damn puzzle, and it's like somebody really wanted to screw with you. It's like it was designed to screw with you. Okay, it really was. So I finally got it. It didn't feel like it was on right. Okay, and then this lady comes in, and I looked at her and I said, "I don't think you're Bill." And she looked at me. She said, "No, my name is Stephanie, and I'm your CNA." And I said, "Okay, great, Stephanie. I don't think I have this on right. Is it on right?" She says, "No, you don't." And so she helped me put it on right. And then she connected me to what I would call the matrix, because I had so many things on me. She was wonderful. She was nice. And then she connected me and she left. Now, Bill, my nurse, finally pops in. I don't think he was having a very good day. I don't think he got enough sleep. And I think he was very, very stressed. He was bald. He was very bald. He comes in. He asked me what my name was. And he asked me what my birthday was. And I looked at him. And, you know, we wear dog tags, right? On our bracelets.
Right.
And so I lifted up my bracelets. I said, "It's right here." You know, just trying to get him to have like a cracked smile. And I think the cob has literally solidified in his ass. I go ahead and tell you that much, because he just gives me this look. Because by that time I had already been asked my name so many times. It was like, really? I mean, I know who the hell I am. It's right here. I know who I am, you know, and I understand why they asked. Trust me, I know they're trying to get my frame of mind and everything. Like I said, I've been in the medical profession. I get that. But there's just so much, really.
Sure.
And so he was trying to explain it to me. I said, "Bill," I said, "I've been in the medical profession. I understand. I'm just trying to get you to smile. Okay? Okay, chill the hell out. It's going to be okay." And so I told him my name. And then I said, 1117. And then he goes, "Ann?" I said, 1117. And then he goes, "Ann?" I said, "Well, it says 1117 right here." It's really fucking with him. And I finally told him the year before the man had a stroke, right?
Right.
And I asked him, I said, "Could I have at least some ice chips, please? Because I was really, really thirsty." And he says, "No." Like that, "No." I said, I said, "Who pissed in your cornflakes?" It's like, really? And then he explained to me, you know, that we couldn't have it because I said, okay. I said, I just wanted a little bit of water, just a little sip. That's it. All right, no big deal. And then he went to give me these things about how I had to sign this and this and this and this. Okay, no problem. I signed them. And he says, "You know, you're going to be sent home today." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Bastards." And he looked at me and he says, "You don't want to be sent home?" He says, "Everybody wants to go home." I said, "I don't." And he's like, you will do much better at home." I said, "Do you have a family that I don't?" I said, "I won't get any rest at home." He says, "You'll get more rest at home than you would here." I said, "Honey," I said, "I would get more rest with the Adams family than I would at home." I said, "You know something more than I do?" I said, "I would get more rest with the Munsters than I would at home." Really? And so anyway, I don't know what it is about male nurses. but they cannot put an IV in you worth a shit. I've had several male nurses, and none of them can put an IV in me worth a shit. If it's a female nurse, they can, but male nurses, they will leave me black and blue. Literally, I look like a voodoo doll, literally, with them, because they cannot. I have very good veins, okay? I have very good ones. I can see them. Females, for some reason, we can see them. Males cannot. And so he's trying to find one. I'm pointing them out to him. That's how bad it is. I'm pointing them out. I said, hell, give me the goddamn thing. I'll put it in there for you. And he's rubbing it, and he's, you know, putting the heat wrap on it, and he's telling me relax. And he says, you're not going to relax your arm, are you? I said, I am relaxing. And you know, the whole 9 yards. And so my beautiful doctor comes in, Dr. Tinsdale, and he looks like he just come out of school, and he's pretty. He's very, very pretty, right? And so he tells me that I've got to sign, you know, another piece of paper, and so my hand is down here, you know, because I'm trying to relax my hand with my nurse, who's having a freaking fit over every little thing. And I said, well, my hand is busy right now because my left, I can't sign with it. And he's like, really? He says, where's your other one? I kept trying to pull it up, and Bill kind of keeps pulling it back down. And it's one of those things where he is just literally having a freaking damn fit. And so anyway, but we're going to go overtime, by the way, with this story. I always go overtime with this story.
Well, see, with everything going on, I keep waiting for someone to say, man, we're going to have that hip replaced before you know it.
Right. And so he finally, so he finally gets into IV, and I feel it. The thing about me is I don't feel when needles go into me. This one I feel, because it's a male nurse. And I looked down at Bill. I said, you do understand you're supposed to stop before you go through the hand, right? I mean, come on. And he just gives me this look. And then he goes, he packs my stuff up, and he takes off with him. And I said, thank you. And leaves me with Paul. And Paul says I have to get up, and he's got to mark me. So I'm like, okay, no big deal. And then he looks at me, he looks at this Chinese gown that I have on, and he says, do you know how to take this thing off? And I'm like, no. And he's like, well, let's see here. So he has to disconnect me and figure out how to take this thing off so he can mark me. And so we're sitting here and we're having this conversation. And, you know, so I'm teasing him, asking him, why did he get into plastic surgery, you know? And he says that he did it so he can have something to do every day, you know, something different to do every day. And so he says it's not as easy to draw on the human body. They probably should have sent me to art school. And it's true. It's not really easy to draw on the human body. But I told him I could give him some pointers because I happen to be a graphic artist.
There you go.
But, you know, he finishes up. He helps me back into the bed and leaves. But he didn't hook me back up. And so when Bill comes back in, we have two problems now. Number one, the machine is saying, I'm alive, boop, I'm dead, because I'm not hooked up to the matrix. And there's blood on the floor from my IV. Now. And now my nurse is freaking out. And so I said, Bill, I'm not hooked up, and machine's going that, oh, by the way, I'm dead. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm alive. Oh, I'm dead now. Sorry. And there's blood on the floor. Could this be a possibility? And he's freaking. And he's like, why is there? I said, I have no clue. Don't ask me. I don't know. I said, I'm hoping you can save it before I actually am dead. and he's just he's freaking out. So he stops, the blood from coming out of my IV, and there's blood on the floor, and he's like, oh my God. He says, why did they undo you? And I said, because he had to mark me. He says, I have no idea how to hook you back up. I said, well, no problem. Call Stephanie back in. Well, we can't do that. And I'm like, well, why not? Well, Stephanie's not here right now. She had to go get a patient. I said, so Stephanie's the only one in this whole hospital who could hook me up, and she's not here. Yes. Awesome. So now I'm really feeling like I'm Alice in Wonderland.
Goodness.
Right?
Right, sure.
Right. And then I have two other doctors coming in. They're my anesthesiologists. And of course, they look like they just came out of school, too. And they said, hello, Miss Kirby. We're the anesthesiologists. And could you give us your name and your birthday? I said, well, hell, you know my name. You just called me by it. And they kind of look at each other like I said something, kind of weird. And they said, well, could you tell us your name? I said, okay, it's right here. And I pointed to my dog tag again. And it's, how my dog tag has, I said, can you read? You guys just came out of school. Can you read? I said, it's right there. Just trying to have a laugh. They said, well, you need to know your name. I said, yes, I know my name very well. I've been told my name several times today. I've also said my name several times today. And then, I finally told my name. I told my name, and I said 1117. And they said, Anne. I said, Anne, what? They said, you need to know the last two digits of what? My social security number? Giving them a really hard time, so I finally told them the year. And they started asking me questions, typical about my surgeries and everything. And I asked them, I said, did you actually look onto my record? I said, we could avoid all of this if you actually look on my record. They said, yes, we looked onto your record. I said, well, if you looked onto my record, you wouldn't have asked me all these questions. And so we went over my surgeries and blah, 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 and all that other stuff. And the younger one, or one of them, he was getting kind of ticked off by the noise that the machine was making, because it kept saying, bloop, I'm alive, bloop, I'm dead, bloop, I'm alive. And he's like, what the hell is that machine making that noise for? And I'm looking at him, and I said, you never heard that before? And he's like, I said, that's the machine that I'm disconnected from that says I'm alive. Oh, nope, I'm dead now. And no, I'm alive now. Oh, it's decided I'm dead now because I'm disconnected from it. And they both kind of looked at each other, and they're like, oh, I said, can you hook me up? And they kind of looked at each other. Neither one of them knew how to hook that up.
Oh, goodness me.
They're like, let's see about this. And they actually kind of looked at it, and then they looked at each other, and it's like, nope, 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 nope. Don't know how to do this. And so they left it. Like, okay. Meanwhile, Bill is doing his thing, you know, trying to get, he was able to save the IV. So good for Bill. Good for Bill. Bill was able to save the IV. And I looked at him and I told him, I said, you know what, Bill, you need to go to some place and de-stress. You really need to de-stress, and you really need to get some sleep. Really, 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 really. And he just gives me this like, what the fuck look. I'm really loving this, you know. Really loving it. And I'm talking to him in a very cool and calm manner, you know, when I'm saying this. I'm not on any drugs. I got a headache from hell. I'm about to freaking starve. I'm thirsty. And then he comes in and he says, oh, I can give you some water. It's 2 ounces of water with pills. Can you drink your pills with 2 ounces of water? I have no idea how much 2 ounces of water is.
It's okay? 2 shots.
But he doesn't say 2 shots. He says 2 ounces. Don't tell me 2 ounces. You know, it could be this much, or it could be this much, or, you know.
It's a double.
Right. And I'm like, okay, how much is 2 ounces? Show me a glass, okay? Or show me, you know, the little cups. Don't show me, you know, this little bitty thing. Or don't tell me an ounce, okay? Don't tell me that shit. Yeah. And I said, well, how much is it? He says, it's 2 ounces. I said, how much is 2 ounces? That could be a sip. All right. I don't know. So he starts to argue with me. He says, because if you can't take it in 2 ounces, I can't give you the meds. And I said, give me the goddamn meds. I'll take it in 2 ounces. He says, are you sure? And I'm like, yes, I'm sure. And then we start going over my medications I took last night. And he says, did you have anything to eat? And I said, the last thing I had to eat was, I stopped at midnight. He says, okay, when did you stop? At midnight. When did you stop? At midnight. We went over this 5 fucking times. At midnight. I said, that was 11:59 p.m. He says, okay. That's what I had to say, 11:59 p.m. because midnight apparently he did not understand that. And then when he started asking me my medications and my night medications, I told him, I said, I took it last night. He says, when was the last time you took it? Last night. He says, when was the last time you took it? Last night. He says, you took it this morning? I said, no, last night at 9:00 p.m. yesterday. It was like, what the hell? What the hell? And this guy went to nursing school? Really? What the hell was it? I mean, it must have been a lousy nursing damn school. Like, what the fuck? I just couldn't freaking believe it. But anyway, if you guys want to know what 2 ounces of water is, it's in one of those very small little paper cups that you have in the bathroom. That's what 2 ounces is. And so I was able to drink my pills in those and still have water left over. Then he tries to wrestle and tries to take the water from me. The little shit tried to take the little bit of water away from me. I wasn't going to give up my water. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. And so I took my water and I drank all my water. My 2 ounces of water, goddammit, that was mine. It's my water. This is my water, damn it, and I'm going to drink my water. So
Sorry, the pills aren't down yet. Still gotta wash some down.
Yeah, go away, go away. And so I drank my water, and then he leaves, and I said, "Take care, Bill. Take care." I thought he was coming back, but apparently he wasn't. And then there was a whole bunch of other people come in all of a sudden, and they said, "Oh," they asked me my name and my birthday. And before I could say anything, some other guy came in, pushed something into my IV, and they rolled me out. And before I got out into the hall good, black, boom, I was out. Now, this is according to Anna. My surgery was supposed to be at 12:30. It didn't happen until 1:30. You want to know when I woke up, Saul? Saul.
When?
I woke up at 7:30. And when I woke up, I had a nurse named Lisa. And Lisa, I asked her, I said, can I have something to drink? Because I'm thirsty. And she gave me something to drink, and I fell right back asleep. Boom, black, back asleep.
Wow.
And then I woke up again. And I asked her, I said, can I go to the bathroom? Because I really needed to go to the bathroom. Oh, no,
Sure.
You can't go to the bathroom. I said, well, do you got a catheter in me? And she's like, no. I said, well, then I need to go to the bathroom. And she said, well, we got something that we can put to your bathroom. And I said, honey, I said, I'm a grown woman. I need to get me up. Let's go to the bathroom. Oh, no, we can't do that. Well, black came back again. Boom. They had overdosed me. Honey, when I came up, I looked like a voodoo doll. The anesthesiologist, they stabbed me 4 times. 4 times. I was black and blue all over myself. I was black and blue. It's like, oh my God, are you freaking kidding me? Anyway, to make the long story really, really shorter, and I know it's too late, but anyway, I didn't get out until 8:30, and they were literally rushing me out. They didn't show me how to do anything about my bandages. They finally allowed me to go to the bathroom, to walk to the bathroom. I didn't get home until after 10 o'clock at night. And it was like, oh my God, really? So going down to Allison in Wonderland, my doctor, Dr. Paul Tinsdale, he was awesome, but I would not recommend the other people. All right, so that's all for our show today. So embrace your power, support your community, and keep your fuzzy babies, your family, friends, and yourself safe. And you have an absolute magical week.
I know some people who like to chat. I think they're witches, how about that? And every Sunday at 12 o'clock. And if you're hurting, they're willing to talk. Nikki, Kirby with that black stone. I agree, Evermoving We Rise. having so will the beautiful mind. I give you blessings under moonlight. I know some people who like to chat. I think they're witches, how about that? And every Sunday at 12 o'clock. And if you're hurting, they're willing to talk.